Oakland went through a divisive budget process this year.
This is an act of civil disobedience.
With the community coalition fighting to refund Oakland.
I find it atrocious that almost 50% of Oakland's budget is being allocated to the police department, and that is not what the people want.
Fund the ReFund Oakland budget. Fund the people's budget.
Oakland has a budget of approximately $1.3 billion from tax revenues. These revenues mostly get deposited in Chase Bank. But when Oakland needs extra money to invest in the future and spread the cost out over time in order to build schools, fix potholes, fund affordable housing, or invest in renewable energy infrastructure, the city borrows money at roughly 4% interest. That interest over time can double the cost of the project. Currently, Oakland's debt service expense, or the cost of paying back its loans, is $300 million a year, or more than the city pays for the Oakland Police Department. If Oakland had its own bank, a public bank, it could fund its own borrowing. Instead of paying Wall Street banks and investors, it would pay itself, saving the city up to $200 million a year. It could earn additional revenue by partnering with small community banks to extend loans to students, small businesses, and local infrastructure projects. Now you might be wondering how the city could afford to lend out the money it needs to spend on the budget. This is hard to understand, but banks do not lend out the money they have on deposit. Instead, according to the Federal Reserve, banks create money when they make a loan. This is what all banks do, except that public banks are democratically transparent and accountable. Unlike at Chase Bank, citizens will have input into priorities for investment in their communities.
I care about this budget because Oakland citizens deserve housing and to belong to a community.
Oakland's public bank would only make loans that benefit the city and its residents. Without shareholders or a high-paid CEO, a public bank can lend at much lower interest rates. And just like the Public Bank of North Dakota in 2008, the Public Bank of Oakland could keep lending when other banks stop. A Public Bank of Oakland won't solve all of the city's issues, but it will go a long way toward eliminating a huge drain on the budget, creating additional revenue for the city, and even maybe allowing the city to lower taxes. Here's the larger issue. Should banking be considered an essential public service? Or should creating money continue to be the privilege of a few private profit-making businesses? Get involved and support the community-led effort to create a Public Bank of Oakland. Watch the next video and find out how banks create money.